What's up, everyone? We back. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for waiting around. Thanks for staying on your phone for another 20 minutes. Just scrolling through other things, I guess. Hi, Katie Gazda. What's up? How's it going? Hi, Mrs. Bella Seaton? Laramir? Hope for Life. Jenna, what's up? How's it going? If you're just tuning in, or you've been tuning in this whole time, maybe plug your ears, because I'm going to say the same thing I say pretty much every week, every day. Hi, Blake. What's up? Hi, Hannah. So welcome to Quarantine with Christine. My official quarantine is over tomorrow, but I'm staying inside because of all the things I've learned from all these conversations. And pretty much the moral of the story is like, stay inside if you care about humanity whatsoever. Hi, Blake, I miss you too. But I started the show so I could talk with people that I like on the internet once a day. And yeah, it's like, I think it'll be like, I don't know, I haven't had a super rough time, like, with mine, but that's just, I think, because I'm introverted, so I've enjoyed sitting in my house alone, reading books, watching Netflix. But anyway, it's been so fun getting to talk with so many people and hear different perspectives. And I'm going to release the schedule for next week pretty soon. We're going to have Hannah Bonifacius talking with us about just how we engage with people who are especially vulnerable during this time. We're talking with YB about how do you live in that tension with our social media culture between like connection, like real connection versus just doing self-promotion. And talking with Austin Gone about doing a rule of life in a digital age. I'm super excited about that. Tomorrow I'm talking with my friend Brooke about the economy, and I know a lot about the economy, so it should be a great episode. I know nothing about the economy. But tonight, I'm excited. Julio is going to hop on in just a few minutes, and we're going to be talking about creativity and inspiration and how you create content when that's like what you do for a living consistently, and how do you make it good. What's up, Faxon? How's it going? So good to see you. Just real quick though, before we jump into the conversation, how's everyone feeling? Like, for real? Have you guys been feeling anxious? Has it been hard? Faxon's doing good. Amy Liz 16, how's it going? I think for me it's been really interesting, just the range of people. Some people are feeling super anxious, and I know that for me, some of the finances and stuff with my job is, I think, changing relatively soon, and that Katie says she's not meant to be at home full time with a puppy. I also just think it's like right in time for tomorrow. It seems to be like the financial side of stuff is really starting to stress people out, and so in the midst of that, I just feel like everything's just about to ramp up. And I'm still thinking about the statistics between how Hong Kong has been able to kind of keep the virus contained versus how we really haven't in the States, and how that is so much about just the general public and individuals like us, normal people like us, deciding to stay in our homes instead of venturing out for whatever it is you think you really need. And I'm still thinking about what Dr. Michael talked about regarding just how we're so used to, our luxuries, and how we might feel extra trapped because of the things we feel like we don't have access to that we normally do. So for me, those have been like my big time reflections of just learning, hey, I have so much in my life regularly, and I can, not freak out as much. Though if you are freaking out, your feelings are valid. This is a world pandemic. So still love you, not hating on you. Hi, Mindy. How's it going? Hi, Kim Smith. What's up? So good to see ya. So Julio is, let me introduce him real quick before I try to get him onto this thing. Julio is super cool. He and I work at the same church here in Tucson, Arizona. And he is like our video guru, graphics guru, does a lot of stuff. And I think for me, as I've gotten to know him more, it's been super cool because like he creates a lot of like amazing creative content just out of his own personal stuff. Hey Grace. And so, you know, for me, I've been doing this, whatever you call this show, for 2 weeks almost, and I'm a little bit burnt out. Like I'm like, who like influencers, like the ones that are legit. I got more respect because I'm like, I don't know how you keep bringing this stuff out all the time. Because I know like I couldn't do this for a living. It would stress me out, and I would be very tired of it very soon. But for those of you out there, have you felt, can I just ask really quick before we bring Julio on, how have you guys felt about like just the influx of content on the internet? Has it been like good for you, or do you feel overwhelmed, or do you feel like it's fine, it feels kind of the same? I know for me, I feel like I almost like can't keep up, and so it's been a little bit like I've tried to do, but I've tried to create some like rhythms in my life where I'm like away from my phone at certain times of the day. Yeah, Lauren says so much content. And like a lot of it's really amazing. It's really creative, really awesome. But I think for me, I've just noticed like if I scroll too much, like I get in that the zombie face. But also I start to feel really, really overwhelmed and anxious. You're awesome, Kim. Hi, Zach Baker. Katie says it's getting addicting because it's constantly changing on the timeline. Yeah, like people are just creating so much. This is Bella Seaton. I've tried to stay away but also keep myself informed. It's a lot of content. Hannah says I've never been on my phone so much. I know. Okay, so Julio's in the room, and so I'm going to call him up in just a second, but this is confession time. You know how on Sunday if you have an iPhone, at least for me it's Sundays, it does like the weekly report about how much time you spent on your phone per day. And for me, it was horrifying. Like, I think I went up like 40%, and it was like, you're on your phone for 7 hours, 38 minutes a day. And granted, like, some of it is just like recording these and like leaving it on my desk, but still, I was like, that is too much, and I did not like that. So that's my confession. If you guys want to confess your numbers to make me feel better about myself, I would appreciate it, but if you don't, I also understand. So if you want to keep those secrets to yourself. All right, let's bring... Bro, you made it!
What's up?
How are ya?
I'm doing good.
Yeah? How'd your film shoot go?
It's finishing up.
Good.
Transferring files.
Working late nights. Are you in your office?
I'm in the booth upstairs.
Oh, nice. Look at that. Fancy.
I didn't want to keep you waiting too long.
No, I appreciate that.
I figured I could do more than one thing at the same time.
There you go. Oh, Faxon says, what's up, Julio? So, Julio, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do? I already told them where you live, and I sort of told them your job, but tell them more about yourself besides that.
Well, I don't know what Christine told you guys, but I am a video editor. Well, not just a video editor. I do all the aspects of video, which is filming, editing, directing, all that fun stuff. Been doing it since 2014.
Cool.
And yeah, live in Tucson, born and raised, but moved back from Charlotte, North Carolina almost a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm back to the desert.
Yeah.
I'm married, and I have a 13-year-old cat.
You just like made yourself sound like every basic white girl. It was amazing.
I am a basic white girl.
You do fit the description really well. Okay, so how did you get into like creating videos, creating content, graphics? Like, what got you into that?
So, I don't really know, to be honest. I grew up in a small church in a rural like town, and there was a need for someone to run their slides. So I just started with that, realized they look ugly. So I got onto the journey to try and make them look less ugly. I didn't
Just
succeed.
really high standards right there.
Yeah, I didn't succeed that much, but that kind of like led me to try and investigate how to do stuff. Got my bootleg version of Photoshop. I don't agree with doing that, but that's how I started. With a pirated version of Photoshop that I got from LimeWire, if anyone remembers.
LimeWire. Oh my gosh, represent. Yeah, I was trying to explain LimeWire to like 6th graders like literally a month ago, and they were like, "What are you even talking about?" I was like, "Imagine Spotify, but like it's illegal, and every time you download something, it's not what it's labeled."
That is exactly what it is.
Okay, so you got started with LimeWire and all that, and now it's progressed, and now you do like a lot of stuff because you don't just work at the church, you also have like your own side projects and business, right? So tell us just a little bit about that.
Yeah, so after I got my love for it, I went to college for graphic design, did 2 years of it and dropped out. Mostly because I got a job offer for a church in El Paso, Texas, as a creative director for their youth department, which was a pretty big deal considering the fact that this is a pretty large church.
Sure.
I had no idea what I was doing, and neither did they apparently, because they hired a kid that had no idea what he was doing. But yeah, they hired me as a creative director. Never had done a video in my life.
Nice.
That's kind of like what guided me in the direction of doing this for churches and ministry, just stepping foot in that. So literally my first day on the job at that church was a video project.
Nice.
Never I touched a camera for like to do any videos. I had done photography, but never had shot a video. And here I go trying to figure out how to make a video for this church that trusted some 19-year-old kid to run their entire youth department's creative team, and it was okay.
Nice.
It was during the time that Pharrell Williams' "Happy" was popular, so it was just a spoof on "Happy." Yeah, that's all it was.
That's awesome. Okay, so tell us a little bit about obviously I know you from work and all that stuff, and you're a pretty like disciplined guy. So can you tell us a little bit about like what are your general methods and rhythms and habits for creativity? Like, are you somebody where it just like comes to you, or are you the kind of person that you almost have like a formula when you're working on something creative?
I read a book once, and this kind of gave me the words to describe my method, and it's one of my favorite books on creativity, and it's by Stephen Pressfield, and it's called The War of Art.
Okay.
And basically, it's the struggle of how do you tame being a creative mind, which we're usually seen as like the super spontaneous, like we don't know limits type people. How do you get that and add limits? And one thing that he mentions, and that's kind of something I live by as well. They asked him, it's like, is your creativity like spontaneous, or like how does it come about? He's like, I'm spontaneously creative between 9 to 5 p.m. And that's kind of how I see it for myself as well. Like, like I set parameters for when I have to work, and obviously it depends on the season of how busy I am. There's times where I create it from 7 a.m. through 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Or other seasons where I'm 9 to 5. And then weekends where I'm like, I'm not gonna be creative unless it's for my own like just desire. But but yeah, I do set pretty strong parameters on when I'm allowing myself to be creative, and in turn, it allows me to be creative at a higher capacity, just because. And I know this to be true for a lot of creative people, that working under pressure kind of pushes you to really tap into your imagination. Yeah. So that really gives me limitations. So I have to work within my limitations rather than just being free roaming with the things that I want to do.
Sure. How do you like juggle that? Because it sounds like what you're describing, it's a lot about like the creativity that you need for work, but in the things that you want to do, like your side projects, like I've seen that you've posted some stuff where it's just like a fun like blip from your day, or like your podcast, that kind of thing. How do you set limits for your personal projects?
So, at least things that I do for myself, I have no limit on, just more because I see that as a hobby rather than work.
Sure.
So that for me is just more of a relaxing time.
Okay.
So, like me as a creative channel for me, like not doing something that's for someone else.
Sure.
Like even for my side business, I'm Friday 9 to 5.
Okay.
So it's like, or sometimes evenings during the week, depending on how busy I am. So even on like side projects for other people, I set parameters.
Okay.
My life is like pretty free roam. It's like I have an idea, I'm gonna jot it down or work on it on the spot. So
Okay.
just because it's more fulfilling for me,
Yeah.
as opposed to trying to be fulfilling for someone else.
Yeah, that makes sense. Tell us what inspires you.
Oh snap! Pinterest.
Pinterest. That's amazing.
No, I mean seriously. Like I steal off of other people so much, but I don't steal the entire thing. I just kind of steal elements or something I see as cool. I honestly can be inspired by pretty much anything. I could be walking in the store and just see a color scheme that I like, and
Sure.
then I take a picture of that color scheme, whether it be a horrible or a great design or whatever it may be. Movies always inspire me, nature, music, and I just really like to tap into the emotions that certain things make me feel,
Sure.
and then try to translate that into what I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
So that it's just really everything that surrounds me. Just and everyone has the way that they look at stuff. So it's just tapping into my perspective of things and trying to
Sure.
translate and communicate to other people that don't have the same perspective as I do.
Yeah, that's good. Your answer of Pinterest leads to my next question, which is like we live in a world of infinite content, and especially now more than ever with COVID stuff, it's like everything is popping out. But how do you navigate like staying relevant without just like copying what other people are doing, or how do you find yourself being original when it's like everywhere you look there's stuff that's like, well, I've never seen that before, I guess, like, or like how do you just keep from copying?
That is definitely a hard wire to walk on.
Yeah.
I do say Pinterest inspires me, but honestly, I log on to Pinterest like once every 2 months.
Yeah.
Like when I'm really digging for something where like I'm just like having a wall that I can't get past. It's like that's really when I tap into that. But other than that, it's like just staying relevant. It has more to do. I think people try to bring relevancy to their culture without it being a thing that is, without asking themselves the question is like, is this something that really belongs in the culture that surrounds me?
Talk more about that.
Like for me, it's like, I have to take, living in Tucson, take the culture that surrounds me and try to use that to communicate messages to people that are around me. If I take Southwest messages to, let's say, another country, it won't translate the same because not everyone knows what a saguaro is.
Sure.
Not everyone knows what like Mexican food looks like in the States.
Sure.
Not everyone knows what Spanglish is, and
yeah.
Those type of messages will definitely resonate with people that are part of the community, but not necessarily parts of other communities. So when I look at other pieces of art, I have to really ask myself, is like, if I do get inspired by this piece, how will it translate to the people that I'm trying to communicate a message to?
Sure. This is just like, I love that concept. My question for you in the midst of that is like, how do you create timeless art then? Like, because I think like there's something so innate about art, like whether it's music or painting, poetry, like there's something about there's a certain level where it like really doesn't matter where you're from or who you are. It just like speaks to people. It's like why you see a trillion people at the Louvre looking at the Mona Lisa. Maybe not right now, but generally, so like how like is it because you think about the stuff you're creating right now as for this time and place only, or are you trying to have a bit of that thread in your art every time where you're like, I want this to be lasting. I want this to speak beyond this moment. So how do you navigate that?
I think it has more to do with the underlying message of what you're trying to express.
Sure.
Like, we live in such a fast-paced world of technology that, like, for example, if I were to make a video, like 2 or 3 years down the line, the video quality is going to look so outdated from everything that's coming out at that point. It's like, but if my message is strong, then that message will last a lifetime. It's like same reason we've seen books that have that are still being read in high schools that were written like 200 or 300 years ago.
Sure.
It's like because it's the message of the book rather than the way it was portrayed.
Sure.
Because there's language, there's imagery that we don't understand because we didn't live in those times.
Yeah.
It's like same with what I'm designing, what I'm capturing, whatever it may be. It's more about the message, and I think that's really what creates a timeless art piece. Yeah. It's the message that you're giving rather than the way you're portraying it.
Yeah, that's really good, man. I haven't thought about it like that. It's really thoughtful. So tell us about how has COVID-19 changed your creative process and pace? Tell us about that.
Well, considering that like the entire world is video based right now.
Yes.
My workload has probably doubled.
Okay.
Not just in my 9 to 5, but I have come to the point where I've constantly had to tell people no, just because I do not have the energy and or time to fulfill everyone's video needs.
Sure.
And it's hard because if anyone knows anything about the Enneagram, I'm an Enneagram 1 with a wing 2. So I have this constant desire to fulfill everyone's needs with perfection.
Yeah.
And it's hard because it's like, right now I see a lot of churches that have a necessity for streaming their videos or having videos edited and all this stuff. And like, I was speaking to my wife the other day and I was saying, I almost had a meltdown because it's like, I want to help everyone so bad. I know I can't. It's like, I know I don't have the capacity to do that for everyone that comes my way.
Yeah.
So is it... No, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you, like, I'm hearing that, like, your workload has just pretty much doubled. So can you tell us just, like, really quickly, what are some of the new things you've had to take on, like, wide scope? And then are there things that you've been able to drop in the midst of that with the changing environment of COVID?
At the current moment, there hasn't been much I've been able to drop.
Okay.
It's at least where we both work, like, at Pantano. Services have shifted to completely being online services, which that looks different. And it didn't change much in the amount of editing that I'm doing, but it changed a lot in the amount of decision making that our team is making.
Sure.
And that in itself takes a lot of energy and just a lot of time. And thinking through it, which is I think that in itself is more the workload that has been added. I was making fun with the team yesterday because we had a meeting and we were talking about like how we're doing certain things for Easter, and like I just kept hearing the words, "Oh, let's make a video. Oh, let's make a video," and internally I was about to explode.
Yeah, you're like, no more videos. I can't.
It's like I don't even know how I'm going to get that all done.
Yeah.
But just in that, like, even though I know right now my workload is mostly, at least in the editing part of it, is mostly the same.
Yeah.
It takes double the energy to get things done just because we're living in such a fast-paced like environment right now where like the news cycle is just crazy.
Yeah, like, everything's changing constantly.
Yeah, COVID changes everything, like, if not daily, like, by the hour.
Sure.
Something's changing. So, like, even myself having to be really open-handed with the decisions that we make, knowing that tomorrow that decision might completely change because something else changed.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you tell us, like, how has, like, this ratcheting up of the amount of content creation affected you as an artist and just as a human being in general? Because I was just saying right before you hopped on here, like, I feel like just as an intaker of content, like, we all have phones, we're all scrolling through, I'm like, there's been so much content that I feel overwhelmed just looking. But now, and I was also saying, like, even doing this like every day, like I love getting to talk to different people, but I'm like the process of like thinking about like putting thought into the stuff you're putting out there. Like I'm like that takes a lot of energy. That takes a lot of stuff in my head and my heart. And so you are already creating a ton of content before, and now you're creating like double. So how has that affected you? Like
It like today I had a small breakdown. Just that even like sometimes like I'm gonna put it in the context of food because I'm a fatty that way.
Oh my gosh.
But sorry, I'm disconnecting a hard drive while we're talking. But I had a small meltdown this afternoon because like the stress got to me of like seeing it might not be a lot of work. Like I know I can handle the quantity of work.
Yeah.
But knowing that it's right in front of me and that like I don't take stuff that I do lightly. I know that everything I do has purpose and everything I touch has purpose, whatever it may be. But like because of not being able to see things lightly like that, I see the amount of work as a bigger thing than it actually is. So like this morning I was saying the amount of videos that I had to get done for this weekend for us to be able to have church. And like I just was like I text my wife and I was like I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Mentally exhausted. Like I just can't handle the workload. Like I can't handle the decisions. Like I just want to go to bed, cry for like 2 days, and like just
Julio.
Go to sleep, wake up the next day, and hope COVID's over.
Oh my gosh.
Like, but then it's like I snap out of it, But like I said earlier, it's my need for really fulfilling things with excellence, and it's hard. But as a human being, there's good days and bad days. Just going through this, and it's only been a few weeks.
Yeah.
But like there's days where my anxiety hits me, and I was sharing this with the team I work with. I have to shut down their text messages every once in a while because all they do is share the news.
Yeah.
And it's like I like to stay informed, but all this is doing is giving me really high anxiety.
Yeah. I think it still goes back to your point about like knowing your limits and creating limits in your life. I think that we all need that in terms of content, whether it's creation or intake, like to be healthy and whole. Can you talk about like what are this is a question from Hannah Boniface. Just what are your routines or techniques for practicing creativity when you just don't feel that inspired?
This is different for every person, but sometimes, like, things that I do for myself, it's like, like, if I feel like I just came to a big wall in my creativity, I make sure that I, like, get a workout in or watch a Netflix show, watch some YouTube videos or something. Just do something that fulfills your energy.
Yeah.
So those are things. It's like like if you're at that point in your life where you already know the things that energizes you.
Sorry, you cut out for a second.
Oh, sorry, I accidentally locked my phone.
You're good. I'm Bruce.
Over there.
Ooh, you frozen, Julio.
Am I back?
You're back. Yeah, I think that's good. Like for me, when I'm thinking about like the creative process, I was reading a book once that talked about how like you should create like rhythms where you're creating every day, even if it's not always good or you get to the end of it and you're like, I'm not super proud of that. I don't really want to release that anywhere. But it's good to just constantly like be in practice for the things that you care about. And I think for me, like one of the things that I had to learn how to do every week is like write a sermon for 6th to 8th graders, which is like a weird practice of creativity, but it was so like for me it was hard at first. So I would spend like 30 hours a week trying to write these stories and illustrations and just like land all that stuff. And I think like having done it weekly, like for a while now, I've learned like, oh, I can like sense it in my body when I'm like, I'm done. It doesn't really matter how long I sit here and stare at the screen. Nothing's gonna come right now in this moment. And I can feel that difference between that and like when I'm like, there's more in me. I just like can't quite reach it. So I need to sit here and be still and keep grinding, even if I'm just writing nonsense on the paper for a while, you know? Um, can you tell us about like what advice would you give people who are feeling the pressure of outputting a ton of content right now, whether that's for their job or personal business, like because one thing that I'm hearing you say is like you're kind of getting burnt out, and it's like pretty early on in the COVID game. So like, how are you gonna protect yourself, and what advice are you gonna give to people, you know, that are in that space too, where it's just a lot of pressure for a lot of content?
It's just, I don't always do the best at this, but reminding yourself that this is not forever.
Mm-hmm.
Like COVID-19 will pass, whether it be weeks or months. You know, like not saying how long it's lasting, but saying that it will end.
Yeah.
And just reminding yourself of that, and like, you know, like just imagining the day like right after they're saying it's like it's over. You know, like, and holding on to that emotion, that knowing that once it's over, you're gonna have this giant sigh of relief.
Yeah.
And, you know, like tapping into that emotion. And again, like, you know, depending on the context of where you're creating, it's like knowing that what you're doing right now is probably being viewed by a lot of people, and comforting a lot of people, or giving hope to a lot of people, or just really has a huge purpose. Because literally everyone's online now. People that probably weren't on Facebook as often.
Yeah.
Probably on Facebook 24/7 at this point, or Instagram or something.
Yeah.
And you know, like just remembering that those people are watching content with purpose.
Yeah, that's really good. I think like listening to you talk today is such a my takeaways from our conversation are, you know, whatever kind of content you're creating, whether you're making videos or you're writing poetry or you're painting, like, or you're writing short stories, doesn't matter. Like, I love what you said, Julio, about like having a message that goes beyond just this present moment or whatever's in, but to really create something that surpasses and is full of purpose. And I think especially in this time, like everybody on this planet needs hope and just needs to be reminded that they're not alone. And what a great message to carry in whatever kind of art anyone is creating, right? So final fun question is, what are 3 shows or movies you would recommend to people to watch during quarantine?
Oh snap! Let me think of shows that are probably rated PG-13 here.
We do both work at churches, the same church.
Shows, yeah. Masked Singer.
Masked Singer?
For all you want, but I really enjoy the Masked Singer.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What do you like about it?
I just think it's cheesy in a really great way.
Nice.
You know,
okay.
And honestly, after the first season and realizing that T-Pain was behind a mask and had a beautiful voice, you know, I had heard him sing before, but saying that he won the season, you know, I was like, I'm excited to see who else they bring on the show that I had no idea could sing at such high qualities.
So what I'm hearing you say is that T-Pain came in clutch for you and changed your life.
Yes, he did.
Okay, Masked Singer. What else? What are the other 2 that you would recommend?
Let's see. There's always Old Faithfuls. Like, I could watch that 70s show like a billion times and never get tired of it.
Nice.
And then snap, because all I watch are YouTube videos, so I'm trying to think of what shows I've been watching lately.
You watch a lot of stuff on YouTube? Hi, Francis.
Yeah, it's mostly all I watch.
Oh, okay. Like shows or just like random videos?
It's just videos about how to better my craft.
Nice.
Like nothing really like super entertaining. And then I just finished. Well, okay, actually, I have been watching this one. I've been watching the Clone Wars, the Star Wars Clone Wars, the new season.
Oh, okay.
I'm a huge Star Wars fan.
I've never seen a single episode of Star Wars.
Or if you haven't watched The Mandalorian.
I'm...
If you've ever watched The Mandalorian, that's a binge-worthy one for.
I haven't watched anything Star Wars ever, so I'm sorry. That 70 show is amazing, says Faxon.
Just watch it for Baby Yoda.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for chatting and for letting us know what's up about creativity in the midst of your very busy life. So I appreciate it, Julio. Have a safe trip home.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Bye.
Yeah, thank you.